Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kelly, and in this Learn It moment, we're going to be talking about something that's really common and pretty darn serious because it deals with humans, other people that we're dealing with all the time. This is your coworkers, this is your staff, this is your students, this is your customers, and it doesn't always show up. It's really easy to see if somebody's angry. It's way harder to see if they're anxious. In this episode, we're going to be talking about anxiety and how to deal with it. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kelly. I used to be a teacher in the toughest classrooms in the worst neighborhoods with the most difficult students. And what I learned there changed everything I thought I knew about content creation and delivery. Over the past 25 years, I've taught thousands of students, both in person and online. And what I can tell you is that effective online engagement is the hardest thing you'll ever do without guidance. So I've dedicated this channel to showing people exactly how to capture attention, hold engagement, and create transformation. Every single part of it. I love learning, I love teaching and making an impact, and that's all you're gonna find right here. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Anxiety. This is something that's crazy common. Crazy, way more common than you think. In fact, if you want to do some Google searching on it, it'll blow your mind. It is like up all over the entire world. Record rates of anxiety, dealing with anxiety, Google searches are all over the place. So remember in that last episode, I said, assume that every one of your people that come into whatever you're hosting, whether it's a staff training or a customer orientation day or a new student orientation day or just coming home from school, people would rather be somewhere else. Just assume that, because the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of stuff being piled on people's shoulders right now, and you need to come from a different place in order to make connection. So you can either assume people are either anxious or angry with you. Just walking into the room, they're probably not overjoyed to see you in the majority of cases. And if you walk into it like, oh, how can I help? How can I improve this? How can I... Last episode we dealt with angry people. This one we're dealing with anxious people. So if you walk in and how can I help? Let me tell you the first and easiest way to deal with anxiety. The very best way to deal with anxiety, because anxiety, remember a couple episodes ago, then that one was crucial. So if you didn't write that shit down, write it down, because you're dealing with anxiety or anger. Anger is from the past, anxiety is in the future. So this is somebody that's walking into you and they have an uncertainty about the future. So right off the bat, before I even finish the word, you should be thinking, you know what I could do? Like you should be in your head saying, how could I use that? What could I do? This is an important point. How could I help people who may be anxious about dealing with me? May be anxious about the course that I'm putting on. May be anxious about the lesson we're about to do. Well, the first thing you do is you state the plan, and then, well, let's step back. You're actually going to plan your state, which is how it's going to go, and then you're going to state the plan. So if you put stuff up like that, if you say, okay guys, I just want everybody to know what to expect. Do you know what that does right off the bat? It lowers anxiety for everyone. Because if you know what to expect, you know, okay, this is going to be a threat to my, nervous system, or it's not going to be a threat. I'm going to be asked to speak. I'm going to be asked to recite. I'm going to be asked, or I'm going to be tested. Stating your plan on what's going to go for these people, for all people, really starts to build confidence and lowers anxiety. You know what doesn't happen in an anxious environment? Any learning. You can't learn if you're in an anxious state because you're not present. And we've talked about the importance of presence. You must keep your people present and pulling them out of the future saying, no, don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. We're not going to have a fire alarm. We're not going to have a pop quiz today. We're not going to have public speaking seminar or public speaking demonstrations right now. So calm down. Here we go. this is what we're going to do. And then once you've stated the plan and you stick to the plan, people will start to believe you more. So doing what you say you're going to do and people being able to trust, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. I know what to expect from them. They behave in a way which I can trust. And trust is the other thing. So when every one of us at some point in our lives has had someone in their life that when they walked in the room, they never knew what to expect. It was I call it a proverbial shit show. So when you walk in, you don't know if you're going to get Mother Teresa or you're going to get Helter Skelter. It's just like whatever you walk into, it's a gong show. I promise you, that increases. I mean, it increases it for me, and I've spoke to hundreds of other people, and they've said the same thing. It increases it for them. So if you are that person, that Jekyll and Hyde that I was just referring to, just know people are walking on eggshells around you. People are already feeling really anxious about being with you because they don't know what to expect. And you're going to find that in that environment, people are going to try their best to move away from you. You are not attracting people. You are pushing them away. In this day and age, people want to know what to expect. They want to have a higher level of trust because that's another thing that seems to be lacking a little, like you may have noticed, in our society. So building up trust, setting expectations, and then actually doing what you say you're going to do. Think of the value you bring to the marketplace by doing those things. Think of the value you bring to your fellow coworkers, your fellow staff, your fellow students, or whatever your situation is. This is a universal principle. Come into a situation where your behavior is predictable, state what you're going to do, and then do that thing, and you're going to find anxiety levels start to drop significantly. If you can add a little humor to that and let people know what their future looks like with a little higher level of certainty, you're going to garner even better response. So guys, whenever you're designing anything, and it's easiest when we're talking about this to talk about something like a staff training, when you're onboarding new people, think of the level of anxiety they have when they're coming into your organization for the first time. And they're like, I don't know, is everybody going to be a jerk? What's the culture like? Guys, this is like your absolute gold zone to set some crazy new standards, to create a culture that you want to be in and people can thrive in, to create a culture of innovation and inspiration. This is where it happens. During that time frame right there, and whether you're teaching a class of 8-year-olds or whether you're teaching business executives what your new culture is going to be like in your institution, this is the moment. You can go out, make massive differences regardless of whether you're running a one-man shop or you're running a Fortune 500. And it all starts with doing what you say you're going to do, setting expectations and then following those expectations and being predictable. Holy macaroni. Those are not really deep principles, but they change future outcomes. I'm Dr. Kelly. Take this, use it, implement it into your life, and you're going to see some massive changes with your engagement with people.